Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Calvin Tobin Show. I am your host, Calvin Tobin. Today we have a lot to talk about, so let's get right into it. Alright, week 2 of the NFL season is over, and here are my top 10 teams. Number 1, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Absolute dominant win over the Atlanta Falcons, winning 48-25. Now, at the beginning of the fourth quarter, it looked a little skeptical for the Buccaneers because it looked like the Atlanta Falcons were actually going to come back and beat them because it was 25-28 at one point. But after the Tampa Bay Buccaneers scored their next touchdown and making it 35-25, after that, the Atlanta Falcons offense had no answer whatsoever in trying to get downfield or even move the ball against that Buccaneers defense. And here's why. Number 32, defensive back of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Mike Edwards, ends up having back-to-back pick sixes off Matt Ryan. That's almost unheard of. I don't even think some of the best corners in NFL history have ever done that, no matter how great they were. Dion, Rod Woodson, Paul Cross, Night Train Lane, all those guys. I guarantee none of those guys did it, and Mike Edwards just did it against Matt Ryan. That defense is a defense to be reckoned with year 2 in having Tom Brady on that team. Alright, number 2 is the LA Rams. Matthew Stafford is finally getting the notice and exposure he's deserved all of his career, but he didn't because he was all the way in Detroit. And since he's played the first 2 games with the LA Rams, he has made this offense look 10 times better than Jared Goff ever did. Number 3 is the Kansas City Chiefs. Obviously, they're going to be within my top 5, even though that they are 1-1. But that was a great comeback by Lamar Jackson, losing 35-36 to the Ravens. But we all know how dominant that Kansas City offense is. The defense just didn't hold up their end late in the game, but Kansas City at number 3. Number 4 is the Arizona Cardinals. Kyler Murray is a guy to be reckoned with this year because he is making that offense look like a top-tier offense, and the way he is playing, he is actually probably very soon going to be looked at as an MVP candidate for 2021. Number 5 is the Buffalo Bills. Absolute crushing win over the Miami Dolphins, winning 35-0. And based on that win, I don't know if it was just a bad day on defense for the Dolphins, but based on how Josh Allen and that Bills offense looked, it looked like that the Bills might be even better and scarier this year. And wait till playoff time until when we see that true playoff action between Patrick Mahomes and a potential rematch between Mahomes and Allen. Number 6 is the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson, absolutely dominant game by him. 200 plus rushing yards, 200 plus passing yards, 100 plus rushing yards, along with 2 plus touchdowns in total. Lamar Jackson looked like who he was in 2019. The only thing about that is, can he be consistent with it? Other than that, absolute great comeback, 11-point comeback in the fourth quarter, beating the Kansas City Chiefs 36-35. Number 7 is the Seattle Seahawks. Now, they had a little bit of a rough patch against the Tennessee Titans, losing in overtime 33-30. But that's a little bit on the defense. At the same time, it's not, because how in the hell are you going to be able to stop Derrick Henry when he's in the middle of full force of running guy after guy after guy, just running over everybody? Because in that game of what Tennessee pulled off, at least what Derrick Henry pulled off, that Seattle defense, you can't do nothing about it, because Derrick Henry ended up having 237 total yards with 182 rushing. Now this year, Derrick Henry, the way that game went against Seattle, it looks like Derrick Henry is going to rush for another 1,500-yard season. And if he does, he's probably going to be looked at maybe already as a top 10 running back of all time. Alright, now, number 8 is the Cleveland Browns. Now, their offense with Baker Mayfield looked absolutely amazing. Drive after drive, score after score. But the issue is that defense. It looked a little skeptical because they allowed 25 points they allowed the Houston Texans to score 25 points. Now that's a little bit scary, or Tyrod Taylor is just making that offense look really, really good. But other than that, the Cleveland Browns defense has got to step up if they want to be considered in the playoff race again this year. Number 9 is the San Francisco 49ers. That game against the Eagles, they did not look like the team they were 2 years ago when they went to the Super Bowl and faced off against Patrick Mahomes. And in this game, it looked like nothing was going for anybody because it was a very low-scoring game. But the start of that game was Jalen Hurts on the way he was able to control that offense. But San Francisco did end up getting the win 17-11. And number 10 is the Las Vegas Raiders. Surprisingly, they're 2-0. Beating the Ravens in overtime 33-27, and now they just beat the Steelers 26-17. The Raiders are looking a lot better than people are thinking that they actually are. The Raiders are perceiving, or that they used to perceive to be. Like, watch out, everybody, because the Raiders are looking like they're coming for the playoffs this year. Alright, that's my top 10. Now let's move on to something very, very interesting, and that is the Philadelphia 76ers are in a bit of a predicament. Why? It's because Ben Simmons has just made it the most clear he could possibly be, as clear as day, is that he does not want to play for that 76ers organization ever again. So, I don't know why Ben Simmons is acting like he's the shit, because he's not. I get that he was one of the top candidates for Defensive Player of the Year, but the way he played in 4 of the last 5 games against Atlanta in the second round of the playoffs last year, he is not that dude, because he didn't even score over a total of 30 points over those 4 terrible games. Because in those 4 games, he scored 5, 4, 8, and I believe it was 6 in total, and that's like 25 points. Like, Ben Simmons should not be acting like he can just come and go as he pleases. Now, I get that Ben Simmons wants a championship. Everybody does, but you can't disrespect a great organization like the 76ers and Doc Rivers. And on First Take, Doc Rivers truly believes, and I don't doubt him, he truly believes that he can win a championship with Ben Simmons. All he has to do is be able to utilize and truly get his offensive game going. Because if Ben Simmons can get a great or even good enough offensive game going, he could be an elite player. But as of right now, he is a defensive guy, not offensive. Because with Ben Simmons, he should not be allowed to be saying, I want to go there, or I don't want to play with this team. There are very few guys that in the game today, probably maybe 1, 2, maybe 3 today, that actually have the right to say, I don't want to play here, I want to go somewhere else. And I can maybe count on both my hands, actually, out of the entire NBA history, who truly actually get the opportunity to say they want to go play somewhere else and not get any backlash for it. Alright, speaking of basketball, JJ Redick just announced his retirement after 15 years. A solid amount of career, and the coolest stat about his career is that he made the playoffs almost every single year he was in the NBA, except for his last 2 years just because of the teams he was on. Now, obviously he's not a Hall of Famer, but solid career on what he was able to accomplish, and I wish you luck in your retirement, JJ Redick. Now, last but not least, the one, the only, Justin Fields is finally getting his start week 3 this coming Sunday. Finally, all Bears fans, or even Justin Fields fans, or even Ohio State fans, finally get to see this young potential superstar take the field and unleash what he truly has. Now, I get that there's a couple rough patches in what he was doing in the first couple of games when he was able to get a couple plays. Now, people have to realize it's still just a couple games. You got to give at least a brand new quarterback coming into the NFL 1 or 2 seasons, especially for a quarterback to be able to develop and really know defenses and his own team's offensive scheme. And if he can do that while looking like a superstar, it's a wrap, and the Chicago Bears have found their future franchise quarterback. Alright, that's the end of the Calvin Tobin Show. Please subscribe to my channel at the Calvin Tobin Show so you don't miss out on any social media. And please follow me on Instagram at Calvin Tobin Show so you don't miss out on any sports news whatsoever. And I'm out.